Hayward Podworks. 100 shows, one vision.
Our sources explain it all. For more information on upcoming shows or to suggest shows, email brianhayward2026@gmail.com. And now let's get into our show. Hayward Podworks is vision, deep dives into any topic.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are on, I think, a really critical mission. We're trying to give you a shortcut to truly rejuvenating sleep. We've gone through a pretty comprehensive training guide on the philosophy of sleeping habits, and our goal here is to give you the scientific roadmap for mastering your sleep cycles.
And it's a roadmap we all need. You know, the sources we looked at are incredibly stern about what's at stake here.
Stern is a good word for it.
Yeah, they really emphasize that if you fail to adopt good sleep hygiene, you become prone to disorders that are not at all easy to treat.
And if they become chronic?
Well, the guide warns they can permanently compromise your health. Permanently.
Okay, so that immediately begs the question, what's the baseline? What's the core prescription to avoid that kind of health crisis?
It all comes down to the consistency of good quality sleep. And the recommendation is crystal clear. 8 hours a night.
8 hours.
That's what's presented as the single most effective way to, naturally strengthen your immune system, improve your quality of life, and just keep you feeling strong and energetic during the day.
People often think of it just as an energy thing.
Yeah.
But the guide is really specific about the massive cognitive investment we make when we sleep well, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Think of it as a productivity hack, really.
Okay.
Good sleep drastically increases your daily productivity because it's optimizing brain function, it's supporting your mental health.
But there's a real danger signal here, too.
A huge one. Consistently failing to hit that 8-hour mark is, it's fundamentally linked to a higher risk for very serious conditions. We're talking cardiovascular disease, even certain types of cancer.
Right. Let's unpack that severity for a moment. That's a huge jump.
It is.
I mean, from feeling a little groggy to actual cancer risk. Why? Why does skipping those critical hours open the door to such severe biological consequences? What's the mechanism?
Right. This is where we get beyond just feeling tired and into, serious biology. Poor sleep doesn't just mean your body is resting less. It means your brain can't do its essential maintenance.
It's cleanup cycle.
Exactly. The guide alludes to what scientists call the glymphatic system. During deep sleep, your brain actually shrinks a tiny bit, and that allows fluid to wash out all the metabolic waste.
So when the source mentions harmful toxins, we're talking about a literal chemical buildup.
Precisely. We're talking about compounds like amyloid beta. If poor sleep becomes a chronic thing, these compounds just accumulate, and that can lead to long-term neurological damage.
Wow.
And on top of that, sleep deprivation triggers a chronic stress response. Your body releases high levels of cortisol, inflammatory markers, and that creates an environment where things like heart disease and obesity can really take root.
So it's not just a passive lack of rest. Your body is actively accumulating risk. So to fight this internal vulnerability, we have to start by building a sort of defensive perimeter on the outside.
That is the perfect way to put it. That's the foundational step. Building what you could call the citadel of sleep. You need an excellent, safe, and just profoundly comfortable sleeping environment.
We often hear that and think, a good mattress?
Yeah.
But the source seems almost entirely focused on just suppressing external stimuli.
That is the priority. The checklist is very specific. First, your location has to be protected from noise pollution.
So away from highways, busy streets.
Right. Or playgrounds, especially if you're a sensitive sleeper. Your brain can still register sound even when you're asleep, and that can knock you out of those deep restorative cycles.
The noise part makes sense, but the guide's emphasis on light, it feels absolute.
It has to be. Totally inaccessible for light. The instruction is to install curtains. The source actually calls them wonderful curtains.
Wonderful curtains. I like
So
that.
great, right? But the point is they have to be so dense that zero sunlight can get in during sunrise. This isn't just about comfort. It's about controlling your circadian rhythm.
Because any light tells your brain it's daytime.
Any light at all, especially blue light or that bright morning light, signals your master clock to stop producing melatonin. And that just wrecks the final critical stages of your sleep.
Okay, so the environment is set, dark, quiet. Now we have to move to controlling the inputs we give our own bodies. And for modern life, that means the technology takedown.
This is completely non-negotiable. The source is so strong on this. Avoid mobile phones, portable computers, all of it, especially in the hour or two before you plan to sleep.
We hear this advice all the time. But why is it such a potent sleep killer?
It's like a dual attack on your system. First, we're back to that light issue. The intense blue light from screens actively, suppresses melatonin production. That's the hormone that tells your body it's time to wind down.
And the second part of the attack.
The content, it's almost always stimulating. You're checking emails, scrolling through social media, maybe having an intense text conversation. All of that activates your sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight response. You can't relax like that.
And what about fuel? The guide is also really strict about late night eating.
Very strict. You have to avoid eating several amounts of food, as they put it, at night. And midnight snacks are completely off the table.
And that's not just about indigestion.
No, though that's part of it for sure. The bigger issue is that your body has these secondary clocks, these peripheral circadian clocks in your organs, in your liver, in your gut.
Right.
When you eat late, you're sending a signal to those organs that it's daytime. You're telling them to work when they should be resting, and it just disrupts your whole metabolic cycle.
So we've controlled the room, we've controlled the inputs. Now we need to actively tell the brain it's time to shift gears. This is where the relaxing bedtime blueprint comes in.
Yeah.
The source spends a whole chapter on it.
Yes, chapter 4 is all about the power of ritual. A consistent, relaxing routine is a psychological tool. It helps relieve stress and tiredness, and it basically cues your brain to start the hormone cascade you need for sleep.
So let's get into the specifics of this routine. The guide says to start it about an hour before you want to be asleep. And it's not just passive, is it? There's an active mental part.
Right. The first step is like a mental inventory. You lie on the bed for a few minutes and you think of happy, calm moments from your life. It's a deliberate mental palate cleanser. You're pushing aside the day's worries, which are often what keep you awake.
And the physical steps just reinforce the other advice. Step 2, turn off the lights, put away all electronic gadgets. That's the final commitment to the tech shutdown.
And step 3 uses sound, playing relaxing music, something with a slow tempo, a nice melody. But, and this is crucial, the instruction is to turn it off right when it's time to actually sleep. The music is a bridge to relaxation, not a crutch to fall asleep with.
The whole theme here seems to be avoiding stimulation. You're trying to make the hour before bed the most boring, most comfortable hour of your day.
Exactly. You're trying to lower your heart rate, reduce cortisol, and move your body from a state of performance into a state of, well, profound rest and repair.
Okay, let's zoom out to the big picture now. Time management. The guide makes a direct link between a proper schedule and preventing stress.
It creates this really powerful feedback loop. If you manage your time well, you accomplish tasks more efficiently, which boosts your productivity. But it's not just about scheduling work. It's about scheduling protection against the anxiety that causes sleep problems in the first place.
That sounds great in theory, but the source does acknowledge a pretty big practical challenge here.
A huge one. It says that 50% of the population, especially professionals, business people, they struggle with this because of inconsistent work schedules.
So what happens when your job forces you to jump time zones or just radically change your hours?
This is where the guide introduces what it calls its revolutionary solution. It was discovered by scientists, and it's for regulating your sleep cycles naturally without pills. The source is very against sleeping pills. It calls them harmful, synthetic.
Full of side effects.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is the natural reset button.
And what is it?
It's a very precise two-step method.
Yeah.
Step 1 is the foundation we've already talked about, creating that excellent light-free, noise-free environment. You have to have that.
But step 2 is the really fascinating part. It uses your gut to recalibrate your brain.
That's the key. To adapt to a new schedule or a new time zone more effectively, you have to enter a short-term fast. The instruction is explicit. Don't eat for almost 16 hours while you're preparing for this change in your sleep schedule.
16 hours. A deliberate fast just to reset your sleep clock. How does denying your body food actually help regulate sleep?
It provides this incredibly strong, unified signal. Remember those peripheral clocks in your liver and gut?
Yeah.
By fasting, you temporarily silence them. Then, when you break your fast at the right new time, say breakfast time in your new time zone, you send this powerful, cohesive signal to your whole body that the new rhythm has begun. That metabolic signal can actually override the old light and environmental cues much faster.
That is a fascinating strategy. It's like biohacking your own system. Let's circle back to stress for one last moment. We've said that good sleep fights tension better than medicine.
And there's a physiological reason for that. Good sleep plays a huge role in balancing your growth hormones and managing cortisol. The source really maintains that this natural balance is far more effective long-term than synthetic medicine, which it describes as not really safe and effective for managing stress over time.
So we've been championing this 8-hour sweet spot, but the guide has a critical warning about going too far in the other direction.
This is a really important point. More is not always better. You do not need to sleep for more than 8 hours a night.
And why is that a problem?
Because excessive sleep hypersomnia can actually make the negative effects of stress and tension worse. It makes them harder to treat. And the source explicitly says that oversleeping is not good for protecting against chronic diseases. Consistency, not just sheer quantity past that 8-hour mark, is the real goal.
Okay, so let's say you've done it all. You've got the wonderful curtains, you've tried the 16-hour fasting reset, you're thinking happy thoughts. But you still find yourself staring at the ceiling with chronic insomnia. When do you call in a specialist?
The guide is very clear that self-help has its limits. If you are suffering from persistent insomnia or another sleep disorder for several months, you should immediately consult a doctor, specifically a physician who specializes in sleep medicine.
And they can give you the deeper analysis.
Yes. They can guide you on treating these things naturally with things like behavioral therapies or advanced relaxation techniques. But if all that fails after a sustained effort, they are the only ones qualified to safely recommend synthetic medicine, usually as a temporary intervention to get you stable again.
So wrapping this all up, what are the key takeaways from our deep dive for the listener?
I think to get that high-quality, rejuvenating sleep, that consistent 8 hours, you really need 3 integrated pillars. You need the disciplined habits, a reliable, relaxing routine, and proper time management to keep stress at bay. You have to actively build that dark, quiet space and be strict about screens and late-night food.
And the source ended with a really thought-provoking idea, didn't it? It sort of redefined what a better way of living even is.
It really did. You know, we constantly hear that a better life is built on a healthy diet and regular exercise. But the training guide insists that the benefits of both of those things are seriously undermined if you don't have good quality sleep.
And they make a very specific link.
A very striking one. They say poor nightly sleep fundamentally alters your key hunger hormones, ghrelin and leptin. It physiologically makes your body more prone to weight gain and obesity.
That's a powerful way to end. Sleep isn't just passive rest for the body. It's the third critical pillar of health. It directly impacts your metabolism, your disease risk, and it's just as important as what you eat and how you move. It's an active process that we have to respect.
Absolutely. We hope this deep dive helps you prioritize that recovery starting tonight.
Until next time.
Hayward Podworks. 100 shows, one vision.
All right, this is Hayward Podworks, and that's today's episode. If this helped you, do me a favor, hit follow, leave a quick rating, and share it with one person who'd get value. Want the extras, links, and new drops? Check the show notes. Until next time, stay sharp, stay consistent, and keep building. Hayward Podworks. We'll talk soon.